Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Progress the Woodfin Way. My name is Arthur Fisher Jr., and I will be your host today. I'm an engineer at Southern Company and also an advocate for different nonprofit organizations here in Birmingham who are here to ensure that Birmingham continues to move in a positive and progressive direction. I do want to formally thank those great musicians who just shared their musical talents with us. What you just heard was talent from one of the city's very own Nathaniel Bagley, who was the trumpeter in the video. Nathaniel serves as the claims adjuster in the office of the city attorney. The other musicians joining him were Vincent Perry jamming on the keyboard and Eugene Black strumming that funk on the bass guitar. Together they make up the Private Property Jazz Band. The piece you just heard was Tuxedo Junction. It was written by the renowned and Birmingham-bred Erskine Hawkins. Brother Hawkins was an alumni of Parker High School and Alabama State University. Today, I want to welcome you to this event. It is an event that lives up to Mayor Woodfin's commitment to give a biannual update for the community about where the city is on the strategic initiatives. And today, we have an amazing lineup of leaders who will give you updates on some wonderful things we have going on in this city. So let's get it started. I would like to introduce to you Amanda Creel and David Lucas as our event host. Amanda is the CEO of the Birmingham Association of Realtors and Greater Alabama MLS. Creel is on the advisory board for Realtor.com and National Real Estate Ethics Day. Previously, Creel also served on the MMSI Association Management System. Creel has a long history of leading by example when advocating on behalf of private property owners and the real estate industry. Creel is an Alabama native who received her bachelor's degree in journalism from Auburn University. She is married to Justin Creel and is the proud mother of two boys, Avery and Sawyer. We also have David Lucas, who is the designated managing broker for eXp Realty in Alabama, which has over 850 realtors in this state. Prior to entering the real estate industry, David served 20 years as a police officer with the city of Birmingham and the city of Hoover. He served as the 2020 president of the Birmingham Association of Realtors, aka BAR, and currently serves on the executive committee. David was also awarded the BAR's Broker of the Year back in 2015 and was recently named BAR 2020 Realtor of the Year. David and his wife, Peggy, have been married for over 31 years and have two sons. Donovan, who was a police officer for the city of Birmingham, and also Daniel, who was an IT specialist in the US Navy. First, we will hear from David and then Amanda. David?
Actually, it's going to be the opposite. I apologize. It's Amanda. So it is our pleasure to assist Birmingham and Mayor Woodfin with today's event. We believe in partnering and are grateful for the opportunity to be stronger together. It is my pleasure now to pass the baton to the fabulous David Lucas and BAR's immediate past president to share more about some of the things our realtors and our association are doing, both in the city of Birmingham and beyond.
Thank you, Amanda. First off, thank you, Mayor Randall Woodfin, for putting on this event, because this is truly a great way to communicate throughout the community as far as what's happening in their community, and we as realtors greatly appreciate that, because I get asked a lot in the times that I speak, why use a realtor? And my immediate response is, well, realtors build communities. I mean, we are in the communities. We are your neighbors. We are the people who, from every now and then, their dog gets out. We are those type of individuals. We are in this community. And we are in, the Birmingham Association of Realtors is in 39 municipalities in this state, which is a tremendous impact locally and statewide as far as people that are champions for a city. So One of the most interesting things, though, that I really like is that NAR did a survey not too long ago that actually, and you probably hear the third child in the background. That would be the boxer. I apologize. He's needy. But NAR just recently did a survey where 72% of realtors stated that they were involved in their communities. And to me, that's a great number. I mean, you're talking about 1.6 million nationwide, and we're talking close to 5,000 in the Birmingham metro area. Those 5,000, 72% of those people are involved deeply in their communities. And we advocate for property rights. That's what we do. And we want to make sure that that first-time home buyers get that home that they want, that the retirement couple gets the home that they want, that the in-between folks find that house that they want. But in this market, we're kind of short on them, but at least we're working on it. But we try to do that for our communities. And as being a realtor, is a little different than being a real estate licensee in the fact that realtors are held to a higher standard. We have to abide by something that is called the Code of Ethics. And the Code of Ethics requires us to do certain things at a greater and higher level. And so I'm proud to be held to that code. But one of the ways, though, that we have found that we have a tremendous impact on our community, though, is through our outreach and our advocacy of everything from our educational events on fair housing. We just recently had a great economic summit downtown. The mayor was able to stop by with us, so we greatly appreciated that. And then one of the other things that we did this year just to help within our community was we actually did a COVID-19 clinic. So we are trying to outreach as much as possible in an impactful way, not just show up, but actually be there and engage in our community, and especially in the great city of Birmingham. So we are here as advocates for you. We are here as advocates for the community, and we are here to help and to grow the sense of community for Birmingham.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction, Amanda and David. Our next speakers that we have are Ed Fields and Emilia Muller. Ed Fields serves as the Senior Advisor and Chief Strategist for the City of Birmingham's Mayor's Office. And in his role, Ed is responsible for strategic planning, thought leadership, and supporting transformative projects on behalf of Mayor Woodfin. We also have Emilia Muller, who serves as Civic Design Principal on the strategy team in the Mayor's Office. A trained urban planner with a background in tech and higher education, Emilia's work sits at the intersection of urban planning and civic innovation. She leads on strategic initiatives like the Bloomberg Mayor's Challenge and our Magic City recovery efforts. Together, they will provide a strategy office update, which will include an overview of the city's strategic plan, a look into the city's strategic and special initiatives, as well as an overview of some of the city's public-private partnerships. Now I'll turn it over to Chief Ed Fields.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much, Arthur. You are a great example of what progress looks like in the city of Birmingham as a graduate of the Mayor's Academy of Civic Engagement. So listen, Emilia and I are going to share some basic information, give you some context, give you some insights, and really pave the way for the mayor's remarks and put you all in a position to engage in a question and answer opportunity with the mayor. So let me start here for background. The mayor has made it a practice since he's been in office to engage in public discussions on his agenda, what he seeks to do for the city of Birmingham. And that started day one, and really started before day one in 2017, as he had a culmination of a 50,000 person survey, if you will, in the form of knocking on doors and talking to residents. In addition to that, he talked to employees and then engaged a 100-day transition period. That's important for you to know, because if we talk about the mayor's strategic plan and agenda, you need to know it's not just his thoughts. He's a great reconciler. And so in October 2018, we published the Woodfin Way, the mayor's strategic plan for progress in the city of Birmingham. You can go online and find a full copy of that plan. What we'll do today is really provide you with an overview of where we are. And it'll be a very skinny overview because we have a broader purpose or a deeper purpose for our conversation today. So within that plan, there were 6 goals. If you advance the slides, you will find those 6 goals here on the next slide. You all can read this for yourself. You can go past that one. I just spoke to the number of goals, that one right there. So these 6 goals, I just want to pause for a second and remind us that what we are doing is on purpose. Even in the midst of a crazy season of 2020, we found opportunities to continue to drive an agenda on purpose. And so the next slide will show you that we track where we are. We had 102 strategic initiatives starting in October 2018, and our team has been tracking where we are on each of those initiatives all the way through. Now, typically in these, and I'll simply say here, as you can see, 90% of everything the mayor said that he wanted to do is either completed or very well in progress. There are another 10% of items that we found some duplication on. We found unique opportunities to combine, or after a period of diligence, found it just didn't make sense. And so follow up with us if you want to have a conversation about any of the aforementioned. We're going to do something different today, though. Today, we're going to talk about really 3 things. Our public-private partnerships, which Emilia will cover. And then we're going to have an alternate version of these public conversations. Typically, we would go through all 102 initiatives and show you where we are per initiative in terms of project phase. We're not doing that this time. Instead, we're going to take the concept of neighborhood revitalization and not just talk about streets and potholes and dilapidated houses and overgrown lots and land bank, but we're going to choose one of those and go much deeper. So you will hear from the leadership of our land bank and really understand where we are, what's happened, and really where do we go from here and how do you play into it. And then related to that, of course, we're exactly 1 week away from the 365-day mark on the World Games, the largest event of its kind on U.S. soil, and so in the immediate future. So you're going to hear from the CEO and the person driving that, Nick Sellers. But I want to give you just a little bit more context before I go through a lightning round of updates, and that's this. We partnered with the Birmingham Association of Realtors for one very significant reason. They are effectively the largest sales force we have for the city of Birmingham, y'all. They're the ones who are pitching our story. And so we want realtors to understand exactly what the mayor's vision is and what we are doing to support that vision so that they can be even more effective in their job, which is good for them and obviously good for the city. And obviously the land bank is the largest strategic landholder of blighted properties in the city. We thought it'd do well for you all to hear from them. So I'm going to take about 10 seconds per slide on the next 10 slides. You can time me if you want to. I'm going to go fast, so hang on. Last time we had this conversation, we knew that our department heads wanted to hear more about the collective successes. And we know that you want to know, what are our departments doing to really affect change in the city of Birmingham? So I've got 10 for you. Here we go. First up, the Office of Sports and Entertainment recently held an athletes roundtable with NFL athletes and recent alums, Marcellus Darius, Casanova McKenzie, James Bradbury. These are folks that are active or recently retired or on pause, but folks who are doing summer camps and really engaged. They're opening establishments in the city of Birmingham. Our Office of Sports and Entertainment actually hosted them at a Barons game last week and opened the door for future opportunities. Next up, the Office of City Attorney recently reported results of the Drug Nuisance Abatement Task Force. You can find news on this if you Google it, but this is our City Attorney, Nicole King. Y'all, blight doesn't just happen on its own. It happens because there are accelerants, and sometimes we have properties that really, really need help because property owners are not doing what they're supposed to do. They're violating the law. So 124 drug nuisance locations have been investigated, and we've had some success with several of them being brought to justice. That's good news. Next up, community development recently broke ground on 28 new affordable homes in Inslee in partnership with the NCRC. These 28 homes are the first of many to come through a $25 million partnership. So kudos to community development. We're excited about Oak Hill. Next up, yesterday evening, our finance department really put the mayor in a position to get his budget passed. And by the way, it was passed without amendments, without adjustment. That means that there was a lot of work and diligence done, not only by our finance team, but multiple team members. And the mayor will probably speak to his budget here in his remarks. Great job, team. Next up, the Birmingham Police Department has really been at it. We know that we've been dealing with a historic rise in gun violence. You need to know that that's being met with vigilance and being matched with energy from the Birmingham Police Department. They've seized nearly 1,500 guns in just the first half of this year. Look for updates on the efforts of BPD here in July. Next up, Birmingham Fire and Rescue. This is a little known fact, y'all. Chief Moon, our Fire Chief Moon shared this with the mayor and his leadership team recently on Father's Day when we dealt with that incredible flooding and tragic flooding. There were more than at least 23 water rescues on that day. There were nearly 24 lives saved that many of you don't know about. So if you know a fire professional or you're engaged in the fire department, you need to know it's a big deal. We appreciate you, even when the rest of us cannot see the great work that you're doing. Next up, the Department of Human Resources recently announced a city-funded healthcare clinic that will support employees and their dependents. This is a big deal. This will be cost savings for the city, which means it's cost saving for our taxpayers and residents. The savings on those healthcare costs will go back into neighborhood revitalization. But first and foremost, we are making sure that our employees are being taken care of with first-class healthcare. All right, we're coming down to the end. Second of last, if I'm not mistaken, Civilian Review Board was announced in April, but in July will be launched. It will be toward the end of July that this really historic measure of transparency around police reform will go live. So look for that in late July. The Civilian Review Board will be up and out. Kudos to the Mayor's Office of Peace and Policy for getting us there. And I've got two more. The Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity has partnered with other economic development leaders to bring landing here 816 jobs plus, obviously, will be coming to Birmingham from San Francisco. Thanks to Bill Smith, a current serial entrepreneur here in the city of Birmingham, and our team for supporting him and bringing those jobs. We hope that this is round two of many more to come. And then lastly, this was I guess it's an oldie but goodie now. We announced in April, but we're still working through a very heavy load related to Pardons for Progress. This is one of the most transformative and wide sweeping efforts from the mayor's office of the city of Birmingham, where the mayor has pardoned more than 15,000 residents of marijuana convictions, really paving the way for them to get jobs and to be participating in this incredible period of economic inclusion and economic opportunity. So that's my lightning round. I'm actually going to hand it over to Emilia, who will talk about public-private partnerships out of the mayor's strategy team. Emilia.
Thank you, Chief Fields. It's great to be with you all today. So as Arthur noted in his introduction, I serve as Civic Design Principal in the Mayor's Office, and I lead a number of our public-private partnerships as well as our Magic City recovery efforts, which I'm here to tell you a little bit more about. So what is the Magic City Recovery Plan? It's our coordinated effort to ensure that we are maximizing federal dollars and the support of local and national partners to help you, your family, and your neighborhood recover from the impacts of COVID-19. The figures on the left here are a breakdown of the dollars the city has received or will be receiving over the coming months to address COVID impacts. We're working hard to ensure that resources like emergency rental assistance are getting out the door as quickly as possible. And we're also working to make sure families and businesses know how to take advantage of direct support programs from the federal government, like the Child Tax Credit and the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. So you'll see we're highlighting some of those on our new website, which you should certainly check out, magiccityrecovery.com. As we find out about new programs and new details from the federal government, we're making sure we update those there and keep our social media channels updated as well. So certainly be sure to bookmark that website. Next slide. We've also invited city employees and community partners to share their Magic City recovery project ideas with us. The deadline to submit is tonight, and we've received a whole range of submissions to address priorities like public health and safety and neighborhood revitalization. And in fact, those numbers of project ideas submitted are climbing as our deadline approaches. I think we're closer to 75 as of right now. We'll use the city's $141 million in local fiscal recovery funds from the U.S. Department of Treasury to fund those submitted projects. So far, we've received the first $70 million from Treasury, and we'll receive the next $70 million about a year from now. So in the coming weeks and months, we'll be vetting submitted projects for alignment with Treasury guidelines. They're the ones who tell us how we can spend the money. And we'll also be considering how these projects can potentially impact our community. So be on the lookout for updates from us on selected projects. Many of the challenges we've experienced during the pandemic existed long before COVID-19, including food access. Nearly 70% of Birmingham residents lack access to affordable fresh foods close to home. And the pandemic showed us that we can't rely on existing grocery store models and emergency food supply chains to meet the need in our community. We need to shift the balance of food power back to the community and catalyze homegrown solutions for food access. So we're honored to be selected as one of 50 champion cities in the Bloomberg Global Mayor's Challenge to advance our work on this topic. Between now and October, we'll refine our idea of establishing a Birmingham food corps comprised of Birmingham City Schools graduates who will themselves become local food system experts and entrepreneurs. We'll then resubmit our proposal to Bloomberg for a chance at $1 million to implement our idea. The Mayor's Challenge is an incredible opportunity to learn from our peer champion cities and from a network of leading innovation experts who will advise us in this phase of the competition. We've also engaged many food system advocates and organizations locally in this work so far, and we look forward to expanding that circle in the coming months. So be on the lookout for opportunities to engage in our research and design process. That practice of civic innovation infuses so many of our public-private partnerships. You can advance to the next slide. We're working with MasterCard's In Solidarity initiative to advance Black wealth building, matching small business owners with tools to get their businesses online, among other programs soon to launch, many in partnership with our Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. With Mobility Capital Finance, or MoCaFi, on the previous slide, we're standing up a new debit card infrastructure for delivering emergency rental assistance and exploring ways to help our unbanked residents access financial tools. Innovation isn't just about new technology, though. It's also about leveraging expertise and outside perspective to advance our goals. Casey Family Programs is the nation's largest operating foundation focused on safely reducing the need for foster care in the United States. We're working with them to bolster the city's commitment to early education for children ages 0 through 5, expand early education investments, provide cohort-centered leadership development, and strengthen child development delivery systems. Fuse is a national nonprofit that places executive fellows in local government to lend their private sector expertise to public sector challenges. We currently have fellows in place supporting the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute under its new leadership and working to implement the Shape BHAM plan. And we'll soon be onboarding a fellow focused on housing innovation. So as you can see from and hear from my comments and from Chief Fields, we have an ambitious agenda, and we're grateful for partnerships that help us deliver impact for our residents.